Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of our How to Play series. Today we're going to be going over deck building in Sourcebound as well as setting up and getting your first game started. So deck building can be one of the more intimidating but also one of the more rewarding parts of playing TCGs, in particular Sourcebound. When creating your deck, you will typically make a deck of 60 cards, having no more than 3 copies of a single card. You'll see here, Drag from the Abyss, Magma Javelin, Madcap Genius. We've got the full 3, while other cards we might only have 2 or 1 of those cards. As long as you're not going over that 3 limit, you can put in whatever cards you want into your deck. There are no color restrictions. You can do all 1 color. You can put all 6 colors in or any combination. Really, the only limit is your imagination. There are cards also that are colorless, and so those are ones that a lot of times you can easily fit into whatever color deck you are making. What makes deck building in Sourcebound so much fun is just the amount of room that you have for creativity. Without being forced into playing certain card types, you have all 60 cards available to play lots of really fun and interesting cards. As you can see here in one of our pre-made theme decks, the Uncontrolled Chaos deck, you can see in those 60 cards we managed to fit a lot of different card types, giving you a lot of options while you're playing, which really makes deck building a lot of fun and helps make each game of Sourcebound unique, different, and exciting. So now that we've looked at how to build our deck, or whether you're just using a pre-constructed deck, let's move on over and learn how to set up our first game. Alright, so when setting up your first game of Sourcebound, there are a couple steps that you're going to be following. We do provide a quick start guide to help you remember those steps, and we're going to be going through each one of those here together today. So first off, we're going to shuffle our deck. You want to make sure that it's good and randomized, so give it a couple of shuffles there. And then what you're going to do once it's good and shuffled, you're going to then present your deck to your opponent, and they're going to perform what's called cutting the deck. So what that means is they'll take any number of cards of their choice, and they can put it on bottom or shuffle it into the middle. The purpose of this is to make sure that no one is trying to stack the deck by shuffling in an unfair manner, and it helps keep everything fair for both players. After you've cut the deck, you're going to determine who will be going first and who will be going second. You can do this either by, rolling 1 or 2 dice. You can flip a coin, and whoever wins either the roll-off or the coin flip has the choice of going first or second. There are a couple benefits for either side, which we'll go over those now. So the first player, gets to go first. That's a big advantage in any game, being able to get that first swing in. A lot of times there are certain decks that are built around going first. As a drawback to that, by going first, you are not going to draw a card on your first turn. Additionally, to help the second player keep up, they are going to get what's called 1 free mulligan, which we'll go over that here in just a moment. But anyway, once you've decided who's going to go first, who's going to go second, you're going to go ahead and draw your starting hand of 7 cards. So I've got my starting hand here, got my 7 cards in front of me. Let's say that I decided to go second. So I would then look at my hand and decide, do I want to mulligan? I have a couple cards here that aren't going to be super useful right off the bat, and so I think I am going to do a mulligan here, show you how it's done. So in order to perform a mulligan, you will take however many cards you wish to get rid of. For this example, let's do 2 cards. Normally when you mulligan, you would draw 1 fewer card than you got rid of, leaving you with only 6 instead of 7. But since we are the second player, we are going to be able to draw back up to that full starting 7 with our free mulligan. After the mulligan is complete and you've drawn your new cards, you will then take those cards that you got rid of, you will place them back into the deck, you'll shuffle it up, and you'll let your opponent cut the deck one final time. Now that we've got our starting hand determined, you'll set your starting life to 30. That is the standard starting life total in Sourcebound. You can use dice, you can write it on paper, just anywhere where you can keep track of it. We don't recommend you trying to remember it because there's a lot going on in this game and it's easy to forget things. Once you set it to 30, then you are ready to start your first turn. Remember, the first player does not draw on their first turn. And with that, you're ready to start a game of Sourcebound. If you have any questions, put a comment down below, and we'll be able to answer that for you. Good luck and happy playing.